Congratulations on the purchase of your new Jabra Enhance Plus devices. I'm Dr. Jana Austin with Allison Audiology in Houston and Lake Jackson, Texas. Let's get started setting up your Jabra devices and learning how to use the app. So as you open the box, you'll peel the tape from the side. It's going to open up very similar to a book or a booklet. This side here is also detachable, so for ease, I'm going to take this out and set it over to the side. We will come back to it to use it here in a moment, but first I'm just going to show you what's in the box itself. When you take this out, the small container at the bottom, this is going to have your ear gels that go on the end of your Jabra devices, and then it also has your charging cord. Now I'm just going to push this through so that I can get to these ear gels here. When you first open your Jabra devices, they actually come with a medium tip already put on the device, but if you need to change to a small or a large, you can get that out of this container here. If you're typically a small when it comes to earbud use or anything like that, medium, large, you're probably going to be somewhere close in that range with the Jabra devices as well when it comes to the ear tips or the ear gels as they're called. Now let me take the Jabra devices out of their case. Notice too when I lifted that container, we have the user manual at the bottom here, so it's very thorough to give you all the information that you need. But as I open the Jabra case, it functions as your charger and your case as well. So notice we have our left device on the left side, right device on the right. You should be able to see the L and the R here. It may be hard in the video, but they are labeled for you. When you take one out, notice that it is magnetized. That's how we know it's making that good connection so that it can charge itself. I'm going to take this out, and notice I also see on here where it's got an R, so that I know that that's for the right side. So this is my right device. It does come with, like I had said before, the medium ear gel here. It comes with a medium, so if you need to change to the small or the large, you can certainly do so. To take that off to change it, you would just pull on this, and notice how easily it came off. You can also see that there's a red circle here, which tells me that that's also for the right side. That's an indicator this is a right device. So just remember, if you're looking for color, that your red and right always go together, your two R's. So now let me put this back on, and you can see it's just a nice friction fit. So when I have that, I'm going to put this back in my charger for now. And now you can see what your devices come with. For ease, just in case you're not used to charging devices, this is going to be your charging port in the back here. And as I place this down, my charging cable that comes in the box as well. Typically, you should have the adapter with most of the accessories that we use in our lives today. So this is going to be the end that you'll plug into the portion that goes into the wall, that goes into that adapter. And then this type C here, this is what's going to go into the back of your Jabra so that you can charge that. And you'll typically want to do that overnight when you're sleeping, when you're not using the devices. And because these are a lifestyle device, they're not necessarily made to last all day. They're made to be used in different situations that you might find challenging when it comes to hearing or understanding. So you will find that your devices, the Jabras themselves, may need to go in the charger throughout the day, and you do have extended charges within the case. So just be sure to charge your devices at night, charge the case. That way you have plenty of battery power to get you through the next day. Now that we've gone through what's in the box, let's go ahead and look at how we set up our devices. So what you'll want to do is come to this QR code here, and it's going to give us instructions on how to download the app. You can do this in the App Store just by looking up the Jabra Enhance app, or for your convenience, you can always scan the QR code. So I will come in, I have my camera open here, and I'm just going to scan the QR code. Now that I clicked the link, it brought me to our Apple Store, to the App Store, and now I'm directly in the app that I need to get. So let's go ahead and say get. Now let's go ahead and go to open so that we can open our app and get started. Let's click that. And of course, there's always the terms and agreements. Let's go ahead and scroll to the bottom so that we can go ahead and accept those and say done. And now we don't want to miss any updates, any improvements, anything that happens with your devices. Let's go ahead and say allow notifications here. And we do need to access or give access to Bluetooth. So we want to make sure that the devices are in our case, which we know that they are. And we'll go ahead and plug those in here in just a moment so that we're following all the directions that we see. Okay, now I did go off camera just to activate my devices because I don't have a cord long enough to get here to activate them on camera. But now you should be able to see that there are flashing lights here, just the LED lights showing me that they're active and turned on. And it wants us to take the earbuds out of the charging case, which we can do. You can see how easy that is. Keep them close to our phone. And now we want to wait till we get to the pairing mode. So notice now they're blue, and we can click next when they're ready. All right, now they've recognized it. We're going to click next. Now we're going to pair the earbuds to our iPhone. Now to be able to do that, let me switch over to the pairing screen. Once we're in our settings screen, now we'll come down to where you see accessibility. You'll see when I continue to scroll, you'll see hearing devices here. I'll click hearing devices. And you can see our Jabra devices here. It says not paired, but as soon as I click on that, it's going to ask me to pair 2 times because I have 2 devices. And you can see here in just a moment that our pairing will be successful. I've got the notification to continue connecting our earbuds, which we'll click here. Once the pairing is complete, we'll say next. And now we'll enter our information regarding our product. So give me just a moment so that I can do that. I will pause the video just for time's sake, and then we'll continue with our setup. And now that we've entered our information, the only thing that you may have a question on when you had to pick your country and your state, whenever you click in that box, there was a scroll. You're not typing in your country or state, you're just gonna scroll at the bottom. But then when you hit the next button, now it comes up to the privacy policy screen. We're gonna go ahead for this video and say basic functionality and our personalized notifications, and we'll say done. But that's entirely up to you what you would like to select if you want to include those personalized notifications. And of course, there's always the precautions. We're going to agree to those and continue. And at this point, we want to make sure that we have a good fit on our devices. So I'm going to start with my left device just to see how the fit feels. I'll put that in. They're nice and comfortable. And notice I had said earlier that I feel like I'm probably a small when it comes to the ear gel. I just left the medium on for ease, and I'm glad that this happened so that you could see this in real time. So now that I have put that in, but it's not necessarily snug, let me go ahead and pause so that I can find the right ear tip for myself. Now that we have your devices set up, let's walk through how to use your devices. Notice at the top, we have our right and left battery status so that you can see how much charge you have on your devices. This is where you can come in and change the volume if you need to turn it up, turn it down, whatever the case may be. In your listening modes, this is where you will want to make changes if you feel that the devices aren't necessarily meeting your needs for that particular situation. So in adaptive, this is going to be probably your most commonly used listening mode, but if you're in a crowd and you feel like you would like a little bit more enhancement on the speech, go ahead and come to the focus. This is going to and should focus on the talkers around you and in front of you to let you pick up speech more clearly. Once you've left that situation or we feel like we need to make a change, this is where you can click and you can come to any of your other options. The surround mode is going to give you more of the sounds around you. It won't be as selective as to the directionality or to where the sound is coming from or who the talker is. But if you click listening mode again, and if you want to come back to adaptive, this is where the devices are making some of those decisions for you. Now keep in mind, these devices are made for situational use. They're not as adaptive or intuitive as a prescription grade hearing aid. So if that is something that you're more interested in, a prescription hearing aid may be an option that you may want to have a talk with your audiologist or your hearing care provider so that you can go into more depth on the differences between the different modes and then how a prescription hearing aid would compare so that way it can fit your needs the best. Now let's get into what happens if you feel like you don't necessarily like the sound that you're hearing from your Jabra devices. If you feel like maybe that personalization is off for some reason, maybe you didn't click as you should have in the beginning when it was being set up, or you just feel like you want to give it a different try. So what you'll want to do is come to the icon here. Notice where it says personalization. This is where you're going to restart that personalization process. So this is going to start you over from the very beginning. If I say start personalization, it's going to go from the precautions that we agreed to earlier. And then it's going to want to start simply with how well is your ear gel fitting. So it's truly going back to the beginning, back to the basics to get these devices set up for you to restart that personalization process. If you still feel like you're not hearing as well with the devices, no matter how many times you've done the personalization, you may want to talk with your hearing care provider to determine if Jabra is the best option for you, the best solution, or if it may be that you're needing to talk and consider prescription grade hearing devices. If you still have questions on the technology itself, we can certainly provide the 1-800 number on the screen here to Jabra, where a trained Jabra technician can answer those questions regarding the specific Jabra technology.